Hi. In this first week, we're just going to take an overview of a strategy and get to know a little bit about things like governance and strategy making and values. And then we'll get into the really crux of things starting in the second week. So, first of all, where does strategy come from? Well, a lot of it has been given to the art of war, and the idea was that how do you defeat your enemy? Well, you have to strategize in terms of how you do things, and there's some very interesting books out there: Art of War by Sun Tzu, The Victory Secrets of Attila the Hun. Different perspectives in terms of how you strategize and what's important. In Attila, for example, spent a lot of time talking to his men, and so had very much of an internal perspective, whereas often strategy is thought in terms of the battleground, and you're thinking externally, how you compete against competitors and so forth. But the reality is that we've gone full circle into the idea that really strategy happens with your people internally, and you need to help you develop some strategies and be up to date, because the world is changing so quickly that we can't do what we did before and classify things like we did before. You'd often hear the Japanese, for example, be able to strategize for 50 to 100 years at a time. Well, things are changing a lot faster these days, and so we need to be more flexible and give some power to people to do things to move us in the right direction when needed. So, when we talk about what has changed, we've really moved over the last 100 plus years towards professionalizing people. So we want them to have narrow and narrower skill sets so they're able to really understand a certain area and be very good at it. But the reality is that now we're having to pull people back to look at the bigger picture, and develop some foresights and some systems thinking, and not be so uh, uh, focused in their area of expertise. That's why we have to bring people together in teams and start to learn about each other's challenges and the way that they do things, so that we're better able to make some good decisions for the entire system. We've moved really from a lot of mass production, mind you, it's still happening, towards more mass customization. So, customers are wanting to pick certain elements in products, or wanting to have services done in a specific way. So, now the thought is that how do you give people what they want, and at the same time be able to keep your costs down? So that has been another shift that we've seen in strategy. Another one is from people to machine, and we know that AI, as the latest kid on the block, has launched in very, very quickly, and not leaving an awful lot of time for organizations to figure out how they use safely some of these new tools that are available to them. We've moved from profit only making towards value driven types of ideas, and that continues to be a very big topics with CEOs, because we, as a world, we have some pretty massive problems that we have to fix, and if the environment is not good, then the environment is not good for business either. So, each organization has to think in terms of the values that they provide and how they provide it, whether or not they're sustainable. So those are big ticket item in terms of changing strategies. Another element is in moving from internal efficiencies toward design thinking and more stakeholder approaches. So important to have that efficiency internally for sure, but also that's often managed with all kinds of stakeholders. And so you see companies, for example, going out and training their suppliers so that they become more efficient and their quality improves and so forth, so that it doesn't impact the brand of the business, because pieces of the stakeholders are not working for the company. So these are the kinds of things that that organizations have to contend with. In terms of a governance, if it's an organization that works with a board of directors, they're trying to onboard diversity of thought so that they have directors that are able to guide the strategic planning process with the senior management team in a direction that fits the changing environment. And, the SLT then is also trying to look at, we've talked about this in leadership, how do you make changes across the organization so that people are more engaged and helping in a shared vision achieve some of the goals that we're trying to achieve. So little bit, the chapters are not extremely long, pretty good overview of different aspects of how the world is changing and how that affects strategy for this week. And then we're really going to look at details on how to do strategy starting in week 2 with the external environment. All right, have a good week, and feel free to contact me anytime if you want to discuss or have some questions. Thanks. Bye-bye.